Hey loves, and welcome to take 2 of the Creme Nature Argan Oil Relaxer. First things first, I made a lot of changes to make this work for myself, so I actually this time took the time to apply a thick layer of petroleum jelly to my actual scalp, because that relaxer will be sitting on the scalp, directly on the scalp, and it'll definitely cause burns if you don't do that. So I think it is definitely worth it to take the time out to base the scalp, all 4 sections of the middle parts of my hair, and then I always apply a generous amount of oil to the previously relaxed hair on all 4 sections. I really make sure that I coat the hair really well. The more oil that you use at this point, the less oil you have to use at the end. Everything is prevention, prevention, prevention. So now I'm mixing the activator, and I made a couple changes with this as well. I'm mixing it very, very well. So I'm going to take half of the conditioner that came in the relaxer kit and add that to the base to further weaken it down, and I'm also going to mix that in very, very well. And I'm also going to add, this time, a 1/4 cup of oil. Normally I put a few tablespoons, but this time I'm going to put a 1/4 cup to I was determined not to be burned by the relaxer this time, and I succeeded. So moving on to the application process. As always, I like to start with my edges of my hair, but if you have thin, weak, or damaged edges, you might want to start in the middle of the head. You know, we always have to make modifications for ourselves and find out what works for us. I love my edges to be thinner than the rest of my hair, so I can just quickly whip through there with the paddle brush, and that part of my hair will lay very, very flat, which is what I like and what I continue to do. And I actually comb the relaxer through that part on purpose so that that part of my hair will be as straight and as thin as possible. And I always like to work in the top section, applying the relaxer on the top section as well as the bottom section at the same time. That will definitely speed up the application process. Everything with relaxing your hair is all about timing. You want to make sure that you're doing it quickly enough that it won't burn your scalp. Even with the oil and the conditioner in there, if I leave it on long, it will still burn. The oil and the conditioner just helps to slow down the burning. So I'm just continuing to work it through. My hair is finally long enough now that I don't have to clip every section out of the way. I can just toss it over the other side of my head and it'll stay there. So I'm using the back of that comb and I'm really smoothing down and up at the same time. That definitely helps with cutting down the time. A lot of people will apply the relaxer and then go back through on a second run through and do all of the smoothing. I actually do it simultaneously. I apply and smooth at the same time so that I have plenty of time. Time is always a crucial element because you have that relaxer sitting right on your scalp. So definitely want to be paying attention and making sure that nothing is burning. Nothing should be burning at all. That's not at all a part of the relaxer process. Burning does not mean it's working. Burning means that the relaxer is eating through your skin, is what that means. And that will definitely cause a lot of problems. That will actually, over time, destroy the hair follicle. So you want to make sure that you take the time to base that scalp and that you apply the relaxer correctly. Relaxers have recently gotten such a bad name because a lot of people have abused them, didn't know how to apply them correctly. But for me, I've learned over time that it's all about technique. Technique is everything, and timing is also everything. So continuing to work it through. This is another really good shot of my application process. I go on the top section and the bottom section at the same time, and then I fold that section over the other section and mash it down with my hand. All the while being conscious of anything tingling or anything burning. I was very pleased with my relaxer results this time after making these changes. You can certainly make any relaxer work for you if you weaken it down enough. And now I save the very top of my head for last. Normally I would end up doing that first, but I found myself getting burned there a lot, so I waited until the end to do that, toward the end of the first section to do that, so it wasn't just sitting there. And I like to also use my fingers. That's why I don't use gloves, because I like to feel where I'm putting that relaxer. And if you relax your hair enough without gloves, you will actually burn off your fingerprints from the sodium hydroxide. And one of my lovely subbies asked to see the tips on how I do the back of my head. In the back of my head, I just make thick sections because I don't mind if that part of my hair is thick. I actually like the back of my hair to be thicker. A lot of that, leaving that hair thicker, has really helped with length retention and keeping my hair thick, strong, and healthy. So everything for me is about the feel. I don't even need to actually look in the mirror to do it. It's all about the feeling. And I just smooth that down with my hand. Press the hair on top of that into the hair on the bottom. All that I like to do in the back is basically just break up the roots and not necessarily relax it as straight as the front of my head. The back of my head, I never have any problems with that when using heat or straightening it at all. I can flat iron that and it'll stay flat ironed. But the middle of my head, the top of my head, the sides of my head, no. That will curl right back up. And my hair actually still reverts back to a curly state even with a relaxer. Relaxed hair is not only one thing. Relaxed hair is not just bone straight hair all the time. It could be whatever you want. The same way that natural hair can be whatever you want, relaxed hair can be whatever you want. If it's not relaxed to the point that there's no texture in it. So working on the crown of my head, which is actually the most coarse and the most tangled up, I made those sections very, 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 very small and applied a lot of relaxer to it so that it would process rather quickly there. And there's still no burning at this point. It's still very mild. I will definitely continue relaxing this way. It takes some time. It took about 40 minutes start to finish from the start of the basing to the end of the actual neutralizing process. But it's definitely worth it in the long run to take the time to do it correctly. There are no shortcuts. Shortcuts is what leads us to losing hair and even worse issues. And then I just take my hand and just smooth that down and work that relaxer down that middle part. And I felt on the side that there was no relaxer there, so I just took my hand and I just put it there. If I had gloves on, I would not be able to feel that. And I get the little nape area towards the end. I don't do that first because that hair is very fine. And this is something also that I changed, the mid-step protein treatment. I actually just washed out the relaxer with just water. I didn't neutralize yet. Water will help bring down that high alkaline pH of the relaxer down into a safe range, but it won't neutralize it completely. Conditioner will also continue to bring down the pH. I chose to do the protein step before neutralizing because the cuticles of the hair are still open and they're most receptible at this point to receiving the protein. That's definitely something that I will continue to do this way. I will continue to do my protein treatment before neutralizing. The combination of the water and the conditioner actually neutralized the relaxer. When I went to do the neutralizing step, there was nothing, no pink activator. There was none of that pink color. It was just white it was just white water washing out from the conditioner. I was really impressed by that. I didn't leave it on long. I only left it on about 5 minutes maybe. Everything you do, from the water to the conditioner, all the products that you apply in between for your mid protein step will help continue to bring down that pH. It'll bring it down gradually. So just continuing to work it through and really making sure that I have it pretty coated. And I just let it sit on for about 5 minutes, and then I rinsed that out with water again, and then I moved on to the neutralizing step. The neutralizing step was nothing special, nothing different, just the shampoo. I love the Creme Nature Argan Oil Relaxer Neutralizer. It leaves my hair feeling so moisturized. Not dry at all, but I still always do my hot oil after a relaxer. Always do that after a relaxer, and there will always be, for me, there will always be no heat for at least 7 days after a relaxer. Because my hair right now is out of balance, and I want to give it time to come back to balance. So there will be no color, there will be no braids, there will be no heat, none of that for at least 7 days. So now I'm just applying the other half of the conditioner that came in the kit. And I'm going to put that up into a loose little bun, and I'm going to put on my shower cap for a few hours and wash that out. So thanks for watching, loves. This was my take 2 of the Creme Nature Argan Oil Relaxer, and it turned out great. I'm going to put my written review in the info box, so please read that. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section.